Morning, morning, morning. Haven't shared one of these in a while. We're pulling wall forms. Big shot of the city. Shot of the ground. And we'll get a view here of what we're doing. Morning. We're pulling wall forms this morning. They came and concreted that wall in a couple days ago. So we're getting ready to pull it and get it done. They'll break it loose. I can always feel when they break it loose, like the whole crane will shake. We'll take a walk out here, show you guys a little bit. This is a big shot of the city. There's a bunch of cranes out there. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. Yeah. You should let me zoom in. I guess it won't. Huh. Anyway. Big old shot of the crane. Big old shot of the boom. 130 foot of stick. Shot of the ground. This thing is coming along. We're going to finish that wall out today, all the way to that corner. We'll keep putting those forms on the outside, and then we'll go over and put them on the outside and then the inside. And it's real tough. I don't know if you can see that right there. There's a bunch of power lines, and that's real high. I think it's 750,000 volt. So I got to be super careful getting close to that. Any bit of wind can blow the crane into it, so you got to be just real careful. Super careful. I mean, it's no joke when they say you got to have the hands of a surgeon to do this sometimes. One wrong move and then it's all over. But it's gorgeous. You can hear the birds chirping in the background. It's there's nothing like this job. Not like it in the whole world. Oh. That's my makeshift AC unit for now. I wasn't going to be up here burning up. Oh no. Alright, they're starting to get that form pulled. So we're getting ready to swing it over here to 7 o'clock. I'll give you guys a view of that. Hope everyone's having a beautiful morning. Sometimes they have a little rough time getting these things pulled. They tend to stick to the wall sometimes. I'm turn the AC unit off for a minute. But they'll tend to stick to the wall. And they gotta pry them off there. Sometimes they try to get me to do it and I won't do it. I don't put the crane through that kind of stress. Gotta hurry up and wait sometimes. Goes a meat wagon. I don't know if it'll let me zoom in. It won't. Used to. There it goes. You can see he's trying to pry on it, get it loose. I probably won't zoom back out. There it goes. Put a little more tension on those chains. Alright, he's gotten it loose, so we're getting ready to move it here. Ten 44. Get it clear the rebar before I can pick it up. I'm gonna cable down just a little bit.
One more time.
Just so it'll clear. I'm gonna boom up and get away from it. Because when I boom up, it's gonna bring the piece back towards me.
Stop.
You have to pull that bottom out. I've already cabled down once just to bring it away from the rebar on the top, and I've already boomed up, so it's gonna bring it back to the rebar. You're gonna have to take that bar underneath and bring the bottom out, and then it'll clear. A lot of times these guys know what to do. A lot of times I have to kind of walk them through it. It's all mathematics. You know, it's all about where the piece is and where the piece needs to be. So if he can just get it cleared an inch, I can get it. Okay, let's say he's got it cleared. So I'm gonna boom up just a little bit. Boom up a little bit more. Okay. Okay, that piece on the ground, there he's moved it. So I'm gonna boom up. I'm gonna give myself enough clearance here, just away from the wall and then the two columns that are there. I want to try to get in between those as much as possible. And once I do that, then I can start the cable up.
Nice
10-4. Now, like I was saying before out there on the deck, I gotta make sure I'm clearing those power lines. So I have a certain number on my computer here that tells me where I'm at. And I just hit that number or lower and I'm good. We've got a 3-mile-an-hour wind, so we're in good shape there. When a big wind hits and you got a form this big, it'll take off like a kite. So you got to be real careful with a higher wind. I'm going to bring it down to them and try to set it next to the form that's on the ground, the wall form. But I'm going to let him get it spun around so he can unlock the corner. That corner piece can actually unlock and turn. Now whether he unlocks it and turns it's a whole different story. Boom down a little bit.
Alright, boom down a little bit more. Yeah.
Just to get it close to the other one.
There you go. Right, come on down.
Been doing this long enough that I can read their thoughts, you know, what they need before they tell me. Let's see if he unlocks that corner real quick. Yeah, he's gonna do it. Pull on it. Use your man strength there, bud. A lot of times you guys get real lazy. They want the crane to do everything. So.
Alright, sir, camera down.
All right, so I'm gonna set it down, and you'll see where it's gonna. Are you gonna straighten it up or am I? And then I'm gonna set it. It's gonna fall a little bit. We're gonna turn to our right, and I'm gonna boom down. And what that does is that just sets it down real gentle like. You don't want to slam these to the ground. I think a real crazy part about this job is that you can be up here and everything looks so small, and when you get on the ground and you realize you just picked up a 30 or 50 foot, when you realize you picked up a 30 or 50 foot form, it's kind of crazy to get on the ground and see it and how big it is, because up here it looks really small. So
you gotta get in.
It's kind of unreal. It's kind of surreal when you get on the ground and you see just how big of stuff you're picking up sometimes, because it just doesn't set in when you're up here. Turn that AC back on. Yep, missed my turn. Missed my turn. They moved on me. Crank it back. Boom down. Another thing, you know, when you're doing this is having a sense of distance. Not so much direction, but distance. Knowing, I mean, I have a computer here that kind of gives, it's a cheat sheet is all it is. It's not a guarantee. Your guarantee is the guy with the controls in his hand, you know. The computer is just a cheat sheet. Knowing your distance. A lot of times they can put the tagline right in their hand. So that's just being familiar with the crane and being familiar with when you work in the same area for months on end, you know, you're going to get familiar with it. And if you haven't been familiar with it by then, you probably need to get into a different profession. That means you're just strictly being lazy. So The crane, a lot of times, it's nothing to do 75 or 100 picks a day if everything is right on the money. If these guys are really busting butt, and if these guys are really busting their tail and moving quick, it's nothing to do 75 or 100 picks a day. Crane never stops. So that makes for a good day. Sometimes it makes for a long day. You get into a 12, 14, 18-hour day and the crane is not stopped one time. It can make for a really long day. I wouldn't trade it for the world, though. I love it. I think the most challenging thing about this job is the precision work. Having to be precise on where you put that block, and just like setting down the wall form. If your block is off and you're trying to set a wall form down, it can twist it all up and make it spin around and really create havoc on your crane and for the people on the ground. The Rig Sig guy you heard on the radio, he's nicknamed me Perfecto because I always put the tagline in his hand. And we work really well together. He's been on the ground rigging and signaling. He's been on the ground rigging and signaling for about 27 years. So it's nice to have somebody that's been doing that long. And even he gets complacent sometimes, and I have to remind him, hey, don't do this or don't do that. And it's just the nature of the beast. You're working in the heat, and you're tired, and we're going on hour 13, stuff starts getting repetitive, and they just get in there. They don't get comfortable. They get complacent. So I remind them if they start rigging stuff up wrong, or I see they're being lazy about the way they strap a load. I've learned that you are either a stickler about every single pick, or you are not. And if you're not, bad things can happen. So I'm very much a stickler. I really don't give them much leeway. And the first time I do, they'll expect me to give them leeway every time, so I just don't give them any. I think that qualifies as an asshole, but it's my job on the line if something happens, so I just don't allow any riffraff at all. They don't rig something up right, I make them do it again and again and again and again if they have to. We got to do it 6 times, then that's what we got to do. Hey, I'm just now peeking at this. Good morning, everyone. I've done a lot of jobs. I was a welder for a long time, and an iron worker and a millwright, and I've seen some things, and I've met some people. I've met good people, and I've met some really undesirable people that just absolutely hate the trade and hate what they do, and they bitch and complain all day that they got to be there, and being on the ground sucks. I did it for 22 years, and it's long and tiring and hot, and there's been many a night I've walked through the door and just fell out, just from being exhausted, working in corn plants and refineries, and it's not for everyone. It takes a lot of takes balls to go in and put yourself out in the heat like that and work and expose yourself to elements and dangerous elements too, and I got sick and tired of it. I got sick and tired of being underpaid and being told, you could be replaced with someone else if you didn't want to stay longer and abide by their bullshit. And there's, with me saying that, there's no job like this job. You're literally your own boss. You make the rule. You don't make the rules. You abide by the rules that are given to you, but you have the final say on what you pick and how you pick it. And by the end of this building will look like that. And I think that's the most rewarding part of the job, is getting to see the finished product and know that you had a hand in it. And Tower Crane has a big hand in it. Oh. But this is where we're at today. This is what we're doing today. There's a reason I didn't do that like that for a reason. Shit. Alright, so I just want to flip this thing around real quick. Because, it's cool to see that aspect of it. But it's really cool to see this aspect of it. This is what a lot of people don't see. A lot of people don't see is that the cool part of this job, I get to sit most of the day like this and just relax. And, people say, it must be nice being AC all day up in that crane. Well, you're damn right it's nice. I worked long and hard to get to this point. Did I ever think I'd be at this point? Absolutely not. I never thought in a million years I'd be at this point. But my determination got me here. That and an amazing life with the drive when I didn't have it to push me. Yeah, come on in. What's up?
You see those L bars at the top? To keep those balance really tight. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna chase the cable down 5 feet, and we're gonna try to get the boom on, like maybe 5 feet away from the river.
Alright, so you're wanting me to cable down 5 feet, you're gonna let it drop, is what you're saying, and then you want me to boom up?
No, let them go all the way right now. Still I got one paper tie on it.
Alright, so you got a bunch of, I can see it, there's a bunch of like pipe, like PVC pipe coming out of the ground. So they're going to have to take that rebar that's bent over on top and move every single one of them. You're going to have to pull them all up. That's the only way you're going to get that piece out of there.
No, there is no way we can do that. You see that rebar, that's number 6 or 8. We tried already.
Take the bar and move it, not my problem.
We can bend those little ones to number 4. You see they're all different sizes?
Yeah, I see the different sizes, but I'm telling you, there's no way you're going to get that out of there because you're either going to have to bend the rebar or you're going to end up breaking the pipe because it's wedged in there. And I don't know, I don't think that rebar was bent over like that when we set it in there, was it? Okay. Hey, I got an idea. So I'm going to cable down now that he's got it loose. Tell him to hold that right there. And tell your guy up there to watch it. The panel won't come over to him. Come on. So it's funny, as soon as I told him that piece was going to break, them boys actually put on their big boy pants and maneuvered it out of there. That's a problem you'll come into a lot with this kind of work, is that these guys will get lazy, not complacent, they just get straight up lazy and expect the crane to do everything. And I won't have it. I'll lay it right out for them and tell them they're gonna do it, or I'm not gonna move it. They're gonna do their part in it, and I'm not gonna move the piece. But make no mistake, I'll shut this mother down in a minute and just sit up here. If they don't want to do their part, I ain't gonna do mine either. And to get reality checks real quick, I just don't put up with no BS. And if they're not gonna do their part of the job, then I won't do my part of the job. And they'll blow the radio up and I won't answer it. And they'll finally call me on my cell phone, ask me what's going on, and I'll tell them, hey, if you guys don't want to do your part, I'm not going to do mine either. And then they get with the program. That's why they jumped on that real fast, because we've already been through this. We went through that the first week. I think the funniest thing is when you get people on the ground trying to tell you how to operate your crane, like they know what to do. I invite them to come up here, you know, and they can come up
All
here.
right, go ahead and go down somewhere.
They can come up here, sit in the seat, and run these controls if they like. And if they think they can come do my job, have at it.
Come down a little bit more. All right, stop. All right, come on down here, sir.
Now, with that being said, not to sound like a dick or nothing, but with that being said, I mean, there's little things that I do that make their job easy. And that's why sometimes they get complacent. When I see them struggling, I jump right in there to help. I don't just sit up here and wait for them to completely figure it out. There's little movements you can do with the crane to help them and make it easier for them, especially if they're struggling. I hate to see them struggle, so I try to do everything in my power to make it that much easier on them. You know, the big crane is here for a reason, to help them complete their job. So if they're struggling, you know, you want to try to make it as easy for them as possible. But sometimes they try to take advantage of that and expect you to do it all, and that's why I was saying what I said. It's a love-hate relationship sometimes, you know. We good?
Okay, well. You got it, get it out.
So on my YouTube channel, I get asked a lot, you know, what's it like being a tower crane operator? It's long hours. You're the first one on the job. You're the last one to leave. You have very little home life, you know, but in the end, it's all worth it. You make a good living, and you spend a majority of your life in the crane. You know, that's definitely not a part-time gig. That's why I've had a couple of people on the YouTube channel ask me, you know, about doing this job and stuff, and I tell them, you know, this isn't a 40-hour job. If you're used to working a 40-hour work week, you don't want to do this. You know, if that's all you're content with, you definitely don't want to get into being a tower crane operator, because I can't remember the last time I worked 40 hours. My hours are 60, 80 hours a week, so. I'm gonna get this one set. I'll flip this back around, and I'll zoom in on where they were at on the last one. Let you guys see that they're in a pretty tight spot. Get his hands on those clamps. Grab him, big boy.
Hey, well, how much over there?
Okay. You can see that pipe right there. So they're in between that pipe and that rebar, and they had a panel stuck in there. They got it out. They took them. They got these big bars, and they wiggled it out of there. She was rocking today. But that's what I got going on today. I'm doing a bunch of wall forms, and yeah. Beautiful shot of the city. Beautiful shot of the crane. And that's what we're up to. In my office in the sky. Oh. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. I know I am. I'm loving life. It couldn't be better. Life could not be better. Winning the lottery would probably be the only thing that could top this. So, but I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm Jay Nye, the Tower Crane Guy, signing off now. Remember, if it don't make dollars, it sure the hell doesn't make any sense at all. You are only as good as your last pick, and I promise you guys, we're going to see you on the next pick on Tower Crane Television. Peace.